everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of Wild Thoughts with Nick and Koki. I'm Nick, and this is Koki. So, we've got a pretty light episode for you this week in terms of the amount of things we're covering, but those three things definitely have some weight on what's happened in the world recently. So, we'll start with probably the meatiest thing, the Game of Thrones Season 7 finale.
Oh, man.
What were your thoughts, Koki?
What an episode. I really liked it. I mean, there are some nitpickers out there who didn't like the episode, but I
liked the episode, but
you
I
liked
had
it.
I had a couple
Not
nitpicks.
as bad as other people. I mean, I watched this post-game show on Twitter, Talk the Thrones, and they've been ripping the show lately, left, right, and center, and I think that's a shame because I think especially this is a really deep episode. Especially in terms of figuring out Jon's heritage. I mean, Littlefinger. I just go down the line. Really, it was just such a deep episode with conversation, or really up until the end where Viserion single-handedly took down the wall, which was unbelievable.
That was also a really good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
To end the season on.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that
the White
cliffhanger.
Walkers.
Or the White Walker dragon.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's one way to end the season, is to have the White Walker dragon burning down the wall.
Yeah, they've done that a lot, using the White Walkers as cliffhangers, not just for seasons,
especially
for
recently.
Yeah, especially recently.
Starting the second half of season 5.
Yeah, they used the White Walkers a lot.
To use the White Walkers.
It was the first White Walker battle, the first real White Walker battle. It was with
Hardhome.
Yeah, at Hardhome. Yeah,
well, that was season 6, but we saw Bran and Mira and Jojen, rest in peace, run into White Walkers a good bit in the second half of season 5 and throughout season 6. So that was kind of when they started using them as cliffhangers, and I thought it was really well done to use Viserion as a burning down the wall and the White Walker army as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, a little preview of what Viserion the Dead can do. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until I was reading something that
2019?
Likely winter of 2018 or early spring of 2019 before we get to see the next episode.
Shit.
Or, before we get to see the next episode, which is the first episode of the final season.
That's terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. This is what I look forward to every Sunday. I'm dead serious.
No, it's going to be weird.
Yeah, especially because there's other football to watch. You know what I mean? This is it.
Especially because I was showing it to my friends, and we had gotten all caught up.
Like me.
The entire summer. Him and some friends back home. And we've been watching it all summer, getting hyped up. And then I watched all 7 in, when they came out for the most part this season.
I did all 7 on the night of, actually, yeah.
I think I did them all the night of or the night after.
And, And then
we
don't have
it. It's weird to think that 2 days from this video being posted, we're going to not have an hour of just sitting down and watching
Game of Thrones.
Tyrion.
Oh, this one was an hour and a half, though. Yeah. I heard also another rumor that, next season's going to be 2-hour episodes.
I've heard rumors that it will be, and then I've heard HBO confirming that it won't be 2 hours. But
that's okay with me. Then it's more like a 14-episode season.
Yeah.
No, it's 12. 12. Never mind. There's only 6 next season. Only 6.
It's gonna be.
And then it's all over.
It's gonna be intense.
And then it's all over.
It's all starting to come together.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, especially you saw this season. This season's a lot. Most of the season is just a setup for next season. You know what I'm saying? It was sort of part 1 of a 2-part series. How they do that with Harry Potter.
That's kind of how all TV shows and movies, as they're coming to an end.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of seem to do it as they use the end of that second to last season, or in this, because this was technically one season that they split into 2.
Yeah.
So they either use the first half of that final season or the second half of the penultimate season.
Yeah.
Or both, to just set up for the final set of 5, 6, 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Where it's just a blockbuster style fight to the death to see who wins in terms of Game of Thrones.
Give me a prediction.
Ooh.
Or an overall thing, or what do you want to see happen? Because I have something I want to see happen, even though it's not very positive. but it's just good for TV. It's good for like viewing. That's my opinion. But I just want to hear what you have to say first.
I mean, what would I like to see happen? I'd like to see Cersei die.
Yeah, I mean,
and Euron.
Yeah. I mean, that's everybody.
One of my predictions. I think the first death of season 8, when it comes to major characters, will be Theon. And I'm glad to see that this last episode.
No one cares about Theon.
I'm glad to see that he saved himself he saved some face this last episode. But I do think, and I said this to you earlier in the summer, like right as you were at the end of season 6 and season 7 was coming out, that I think Theon's story's been written, and he's going to be done soon. It's just a matter of time until they write him off, and I'm glad they gave him time to save some face in the finale, but I think he's the first character to die of all the major characters.
Yeah, I mean, is he really that major? And the thing is, no one cares about Theon. Oh yeah, it's okay that they devoted the scene to him, but I don't know about 2. That was a bit much. Like the conversation with Jon was well done, and the whole fight scene with the dude, like that was fine in the moment. And then I look back, it was like, did they really need to use like 15 minutes on Theon? Like,
yeah, no, the amount of time was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I did like the use of some time to kind of save some face for him, because he did jump off the boat.
Yeah, that was
5 episodes before.
Yeah, that was such a Theon move. Yeah. For me, what I want to see happen for not as a fan, but more as like an enjoying a great television series, not like rooting for characters. This is outside of my opinion for that. It's because what I'm going to say is pretty major. I think what they should do just given that they have done like, I can barely speak. Given that they've done like the Red Wedding or Ned Stark dying, I think either Jon or Dany's gonna have to die in the final episode of this final series. I think if they do that, it'll be a legitimate TV show.
That's definitely something I'd like to see.
More likely Jon,
but I could also see, especially now that there's
something
especially now that there's such a legitimate case for Jon to be king.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Daenerys finally have a successful child and then die in childbirth.
It's a great idea.
Because that is literally the way this entire series has gone.
Or Jon's
mother died in childbirth, or Jon dies in battle.
One of the are. Yeah. I love that idea. Actually, I did not think of that one.
I mean,
that's a heck of a theory.
Just to let all you listeners know, I predicted Littlefinger dying.
Yeah.
You all owe me $20 when Daenerys dies in childbirth and Jon has to.
Well, I mean, everyone predicted Littlefinger though, but everyone predicted Littlefinger. That's a thing. You can't claim that because everyone else said that too. And the one thing that made the Littlefinger thing so like surprising is that at the start of the episode it looked like, oh, he's gonna live for next season. You know what I mean? And then when Sansa just turned just like that, it was awesome. Like, I started yelling.
Nice to see her.
Yeah.
It's nice to have seen her since middle of season 6 just grow up and become like the Lady of Winterfell.
She was a very insightful watcher of the series. She understood, that being the nice guy all the time doesn't work. And it took her getting screwed over multiple times to figure it out. But she definitely now can't be like Rob. You can't be like Ned, and
you can't be like
do the
Shay
right thing.
Was.
You know what I'm saying? Or Shay. It's true. It's true. God,
you can't even be like. You can't even, to some extent, you can't even be like Tyrion is. Tyrion's gotten. Like, I love Tyrion, but Tyrion has gotten extremely lucky.
Not just lucky.
This entire show.
Tyrion took a big L. Smart people took a big L this season. Like the smart advisors. Littlefinger dies. Varys does nothing. Varys did nothing for 7 episodes. Not a single thing.
Which was very surprising because I thought
all he did was get like teabagged by Melisandre.
Pretty much.
You might have to edit that one out.
I'll just bleep it out.
Yeah. And Tyrion, every single decision Tyrion made, when it turned against him, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, every single decision. That includes going after the walker, going after the walker. The going after the walker was thought to like get Cersei on their side, and that didn't work. Because she's Cersei, she's insane. We saw that even more and more. Like, the more we think, oh, maybe she'll convince... No, that's over with now. And then, what else did Tyrion mess up? Oh, yeah, like, separating the armies and attacking in different strategic ways. That didn't work out. I mean, they lost... Yeah, like, I could think of other things, but off the top of my head, but it's tough. But the moral of the story is he's taken major L's this entire season.
He and Varys and Littlefinger.
Yeah.
And even Qyburn.
Qyburn
He's been the most successful of the advisors.
Yeah,
but that's kind of because he doesn't
really do anything. Yeah. I mean, he's just a big L for the smart people. And it looked like going into the season, it was like if you were to like draft Thrones characters in order to take over Westeros, you'd pick Littlefinger, Varys, or Tyrion in the first 3 rounds.
And now
now they're like, you wouldn't, maybe top 10. Like, they're not as important anymore.
Tyrion's the only one I'd take top 10 anymore. And that's that's at the bottom.
Varys is the only one because the messaging is still somewhat valuable. I'd take dragons are becoming even more valuable if you have a dragon. Like, the dragons had a big W this season, in my opinion.
The Night King.
The Night King getting a dragon and tearing down the freaking wall with one, and then just the battle with the Lannisters there. Just all it took was Drogon to totally destroy the Lannister army there. That was crazy. That was the battle in the scene of the series, I thought, of the season. Scene of the season, I should say. What do you think?
I mean, it was definitely up there for battle of the series.
Yeah.
And definitely, I think it wins battle of the season. And it's up there. Battle of the Bastards is, in my opinion,
it's good.
Still the greatest battle in the entire series.
I don't know. I'd take this one over it. Yeah, I would take. I take this. I take that battle over it. Yeah, wagon wheel, right?
Just out of curiosity, why?
Dragons, man. They had just the difficulty of creating the scene was incredible. They had to do the effects of all the fire. They lit 20 people. I watched the review video afterwards of how they made it, and they actually set people on fire and stuff.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and just the effects with the dragon, and I mean, it was just looked so real and realistic, and I mean, it was I thought it was an incredible battle and just an incredible scene. This the difficulty they had to have, they do the effects of fire from above, so they'd shoot the fire up from the ground in a certain way, and it was great. It was so great.
I mean,
and the visual shot of Drogon just flying through from the side angle is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely it was definitely the greatest battle of this season, and I see exactly where you're coming from on greatest battle of the series. I just think the way the Battle of the Bastards went, from starting off with Jon ignoring his entire military strategy, and falling into Ramsay's trap immediately.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which Rickon's death was also. It wasn't as gut wrenching as some of the other Stark deaths, or even some of the other deaths.
That was really bad. That made me gasp. Loud.
It wasn't as gut wrenching as watching the Red Wedding or as Oberyn's death, but it was definitely something. It was an intense death, and then just the way that battle started, and then you saw it kind of you saw the Bolton army just overtake Jon's army. Yeah, and then Littlefinger just came out of nowhere. And won that battle.
Maybe you remember she wrote the letter to send for Littlefinger. Yeah. I mean, that was very, very good, but I don't know if that takes the cake for terms of just battles. Yeah. Yeah. What else? That's almost everything I got right now.
That's about everything on Game of Thrones, other than that we now know that Jon Snow is named
we gotta
after
talk about the scene,
Aegon the Conqueror.
The incest scene. I'm allowed to say that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
You're allowed to say the word incest.
Yeah, I think that was just beautifully directed. Because they were overlapping the audio with the visual, even though it was cringy, it was just beautifully done, and we've been rooting for that for the last 4 episodes. So, I think that was awesome. That was probably the best part of the episode, in my opinion.
It does. It was definitely the best part of the episode, but it does crack me up because I'm on the same side as the people that I'm about to make fun of. But it makes me laugh that 6 seasons ago, everyone was just like gagging at the thought of incest.
The Lannisters,
the Lannister incest, and then now everyone's totally
totally okay.
Yeah, it's Aunt Dany and her nephew John.
Yeah.
But it's still incest either way, and I'm totally all for it. Which sounds weird to say on the air, but like it's just funny to me
because they're good guys. That's why.
That's it. It's just funny to me how different of a perspective on a TV show something like that can be.
Yeah.
Like something as horrible as
incest.
Well, they don't know. Relationship.
That's also like they know, the Lannisters know, like Jaime and Cersei know, but they don't. Like that'd be my only thing. That's the only defense. Like if they knew, it would never happen, right? Probably not. Well,
it wouldn't happen only because John
not.
Wouldn't let it happen.
Yeah. So now it's gonna be really awkward next season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they ever find out.
Yeah. They will.
Oh, they will.
They set
sure
it up
with
Bran, and Sam. I think the Bran and Sam combo was awesome. That was also a great part of that episode.
Bran finally. Like I enjoyed Bran a lot more in this episode than I have ever since he became the Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah, because he's just weird. Because it works with a more charismatic character like Sam. Because you have the weirdo in Bran, and then you got the charismatic character in Sam. They just really work really well together. But if you have the newly stone cold Sansa with Bran, that's just weird. Then the deceptive Littlefinger with Bran, that's just weird. That's why those scenes didn't work quite as well. Even though Bran had a really good one-liner.
That's what I was about to say. That was the moment I knew. Because I like I said, I'd been predicting it the entire time that Littlefinger would be dying in this season. But that moment when they were sitting there and he quoted Littlefinger from, I believe it was season 3, but it may have been even earlier, and he may have said it multiple times. But when Bran looked Littlefinger in the face and just said, "Chaos is a ladder," that was when I knew it was done for Littlefinger before the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was when Littlefinger realized he'd been outplayed by Bran.
Yeah.
He'd been outplayed at his own game by Bran.
Yeah.
And he didn't know Bran was the Three-Eyed Raven, but he just knew that he'd been outplayed at his own game by Bran.
No one knows what the hell the Three-Eyed Raven is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he just knew he'd been outplayed by Bran at his own game, and that he was now going to have to find a way to survive.
What do
he didn't.
What do you think about Tyrion and Cersei? The Tyrion and Cersei meeting.
I mean, it was an interesting meeting. It was kind of an.
It was a really well done meeting. I think the acting was amazing. That's my point.
Written.
Yeah.
Like I didn't love the way the meeting went, but I thought it was a very well written scene.
Yeah.
And it was very well acted.
Yeah. It's just in the whole wine part of it, and the fact that she didn't have like the guts to kill him right then and there, and it was just a really good scene. And I mean, I hope we have more of those sort of good conversational scenes.
This episode was filled with some pretty good scenes because we had the Bran and Sam scene.
Yeah.
We had the Cersei and Tyrion scene. Underrated scene of this episode was Brienne and the Hound making up.
Yes,
That was
excellent.
a really well written and really well acted scene.
So Bron and Jamie just before the very beginning, yeah.
That one was underrated too.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not as much of a dialogue scene, but the scene, Littlefinger's death scene, was a very well written and an extremely well acted scene.
A lot of like pulling back from the past on that one. It was like,
well, and I had read something
yeah,
that like from Aidan Gillen, who plays Littlefinger, and he said that was the first scene that he shot for this season.
Really?
Which honestly, that like, and he was saying he liked it that way because it makes it, when you're filming the other scenes and you've already filmed your death scene, it makes it a lot easier to film those scenes that are happening beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it easier to work backwards.
Yeah.
And then he was also talking about just how filming it that way and just the way the scene was written. Like, Dan Benioff and D.B. Weiss are fantastic writers. And just the way that they had written the scene really made it like a great scene, and I thought he acted extremely well in that scene.
He cracked for the first time in ever.
And
much.
The way he died was like
fitting,
Arya
because
coming
it was
up
with the knife that he had.
It was fitting. It was badass for Arya, and I mean, it was a very good scene in a damn good episode. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, the only nitpick I really had was just the fact that the moment that Littlefinger died, the Stark girls were all of a sudden like all buddy. And I get that the whole argument was an act thing to kind of like play with Littlefinger and get revenge on him. But there were multiple scenes earlier in the season, such as the scene about the pretty dresses and stuff.
Yeah.
Where Littlefinger wasn't around at all, and they were just arguing nonstop. Or the scene where Sansa found the faces.
Yeah. Or Arya finds the letter.
There were scenes like that where it was just...
Were those really necessary?
Exactly. Yeah. If you're gonna have them be all buddy the moment Littlefinger dies, I don't think those scenes were as necessary at all.
I guess the only positive use I can see for those scenes is like it makes you surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been as surprised about that entire scene if it weren't for all those previous scenes. But again, that's a lot of screen time you're using up.
It's a lot of screen time you're using up, and also I think I didn't have it definitely made Littlefinger's death more surprising when it happened. So I don't necessarily have an issue with them fighting the entire time beforehand. It's just the fact that they went from fighting even when Littlefinger wasn't around to being best friends the moment he died. Like, either don't have them fight very much at all when Littlefinger's not around earlier in the season, or don't make them suddenly just like peas in a pod again the moment that Littlefinger's dead.
Yeah. We're gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss this show. I don't know.
I'm gonna miss it for the next 18 months, and then I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch it again for the next one, and then I might even start the books. I'll think about starting the books.
You should start the books.
Yeah, like how much? Just before we move on to McGregor and Mayweather, how much is like missing from the TV show compared to the books?
So at this point, we're like the entirety of season 7, the entirety of season 6, and most of season 5. And
was not in the books.
Was not in the books.
I know.
Was not written yet.
Yeah, but there's stuff in the books that was never...
There's a few characters that just... I won't spoil anything for people that haven't read the book, and since you're probably going to read the book.
Yeah.
But there are characters and scenes and things that... Just like with Harry Potter, because that was the example we used earlier.
Yeah.
Or with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Or The Hobbit. Like, there's no way to keep every single detail in.
Yeah. So
there were certain characters that just... worked perfectly for the book.
Yeah.
But the way that the TV show was written, they were just so minuscule
or not there
or not around that it didn't make sense to throw in this minor character for a smaller storyline that would be gone in 3 episodes, because all it would do would just be a waste of screen time they could be better put towards what it was put towards, which was
Would I
making
be
it a good
surprised
show.
by things if I read the books, or I'm like, oh yeah, this happened in the TV show anyway? Why?
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised by anything major that I can think of. But, like, there would be a few, like I said, there'd be a few characters and a few scenes that you'd be like, oh, that didn't happen in the TV show. Or you'd be like, it'd be such a small thing that you'd just be like, did that happen in the TV show?
Yeah. Okay, I see. All right, so what day was the fight?
Saturday.
So on Saturday there was a pretty big fight. It was McGregor versus Mayweather. This was the first fight I've ever seen in my life from start to beginning. I'm gonna be totally honest with that. I did not watch Mayweather and Pacquiao, which is probably ended up being a good move. But this was a pretty entertaining fight. It just ended up simply being that one fighter has done it for so long and has the stamina and experience to just outdo the dude who's never been in the ring before. So, yeah, that's the really dumbed down version. But what were your thoughts on the fight?
So I thought, like, obviously you have a 40-year-old who went in the ring, broke a record that he had tied earlier, and then had come out of retirement to break, and broke that record, and now he's going to go down as
one of the greatest.
One of the greatest. And I think it's the same kind of argument as I think Muhammad Ali and Floyd is the same kind of argument as MJ and LeBron.
Really?
Like, you put them, and that's what, like, you put Floyd and Ali in the ring today, and because it's such a different game, Floyd would probably destroy Muhammad Ali.
Really?
Just because of the difference in the physicality of boxing and the eras.
Peak Floyd? So you're saying, like,
peak Floyd,
29-year-old Floyd?
Peak Floyd would probably win a boxing match against peak Muhammad Ali just because of the difference in the styles. But they are both, like, I think Muhammad Ali is still the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And Floyd's definitely second greatest. It's just, they're different. It's hard to compare them. Like, you can't compare them going against each other because they're so different. Just like it's harder to compare Jordan and LeBron going against each other.
Yeah.
Because the game has changed so much
since then.
Since Ali and Jordan.
Yeah, like how many points per game could Jordan score in a 3-and-D era? Probably more because there's better spacing, right?
Exactly.
So, for example, that's just
or how many points could LeBron score if he had that team with Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman in the era that it was? He's had pretty good
teammates. He had Peak Wade and Kyrie Irving. I mean, he's had some hella teammates now. But besides the point, in that era. Yeah, besides the point, it was a really entertaining fight.
It was a very entertaining fight. I honestly think, I don't know if it was Floyd not trying or if it was Floyd just trying to get McGregor to play into his game. But early on,
trying to get
early on, there was a lot of just like McGregor came out guns blazing early.
Not surprised.
Which I wasn't surprised by because, like, I've seen McGregor in the UFC, and I've seen other UFC fights, and that's the thing is,
UFC fights are
way
shorter.
They're totally different fights, and like not only because they're 5-minute rounds as opposed to 12 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So but most boxing matches don't go all 12.
Yeah.
So they're pretty similar time-wise. It's the same kind of thing as going from playing basketball to playing track and field.
Yeah.
With boxing, you're only focusing on one thing.
Yeah.
Whereas with the MMA, you're focusing on a lot of different things at once.
Yeah.
And there's totally different physicalities to that. Whereas, like, with running, you're just running, and basketball, you're running, and there's other things to focus on. Like, they're two different... It's a lot easier to go from boxing to MMA than it is to go from MMA to boxing.
Yeah, because it's less rules and less things you have to think about in MMA.
Exactly.
Which is why McGregor was doing, like, hammer fists.
McGregor's doing hammer fists.
Really awkward positions.
And
he's not playing defense the entire time.
That's why he tired himself out so early because he knew punches were the only thing he could do. But rather than playing smart the way an experienced boxer would, he went out there and just, like, he threw some hard punches early on, and a couple of those
He
landed.
won the first 4 rounds.
He won the first 4 rounds, and there were a few later rounds that were
competitive.
It was competitive,
yeah,
and you could give him the win in that round. It was a very close scorecard from the judges.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Almost
well,
identical.
not from the Vegas judges,
Yes.
but they had some pretty lopsided scorecards. It was pretty ridiculous, at least in my opinion. But the one they had, the guy they had on Showtime, who was doing the score, he had an 86-85, which is right about even.
But I think I saw one of the Vegas judges was only like 89, 81. And the other was like, there was one that was 87, 83, and there was one that was super lopsided.
Yeah.
But none of them really had McGregor down by more than 10 points.
Yeah, because it wasn't. And McGregor as a whole was about as good as Mayweather. Just Mayweather was
more experienced. And knew what to do.
More experienced, knew what to do.
I mean, McGregor put up a hell of a fight.
McGregor's never gone past 25 minutes, ever.
No.
So once it got to the 25-minute mark, he was
gassed.
He was gassed. Body language was bad.
And like obviously, like he could have, had he known as an experienced boxer how to like play the game, he would have been fine 25 minutes later. But he was putting the same amount of energy he puts into his MMA, his UFC bouts, into those first 25 minutes of
not gonna work.
Of the boxing match.
Yeah.
And when you're throwing that many punches with that hard of a force,
I guess.
You're just like when you're throwing that forceful of punches and not really defending much.
Yeah.
You're just gonna tire yourself out so much quicker. But I will say, like, regardless of any excuses you want to say about Floyd being 40 or Floyd not trying early on, which I think he was just trying to get McGregor to play into his game.
Yeah, exactly.
But regardless of what you want to say about him being 40, Conor McGregor in his first boxing match
he did an excellent
arguably
job.
The greatest ever.
He took him to the 10th
definitely
round.
The second greatest ever to the 10th.
One of the greatest
round.
boxers ever to the 10th round. Like arguably the greatest defensive boxer of all time to like the 10th round. That's excellent. I mean, he was. Yeah, like that's how good of an athlete Conor McGregor is. Yeah, I think.
And I think like sure on the scorecard he didn't win the match, but he walked out of there with $70 million in his pocket. Like
I thought it was $100 million.
I've seen reports both ways.
I mean,
like either way.
I thought he was 100.
That's what I thought too, but then I read something that it was 70. But either way, he walked out with a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Just to show up.
Yeah.
And he went far and put up a good fight.
Not much more you can ask if you're a McGregor fan. Even the McGregor fans were saying that afterwards. They said he put up a really good fight.
It was a win-win for McGregor. He was either going to win and...
Win early.
He was either going to win early, or even if he happened to win late, he was going to win and pull off like one of the greatest feats in combat sports history.
Yeah.
Which also would have brought up a discussion of
how good Floyd was.
How good is Floyd? Does Conor have a future in boxing?
Don't you know? Crap, he does.
Yeah.
He's the best.
I don't think he should do it because I think he's so good at them. I think if he wants to prolong his career eventually, once he's starting to age out of the MMA, out of UFC and just the MMA in general.
Yeah.
Then yes, going to boxing
makes sense.
Boxing is like going into boxing is like
art.
Yeah, it's an art, and it's like it's like all these older European soccer players that go into the Premier or go into the MLS.
Yeah.
It's boxing is the MLS of combat sports, not in the sense that it's worse.
Not in terms of popularity.
Not in terms of popularity, and not in terms of the fact that it's just like deemed as worse than the others.
No, it's
but
not.
In terms of the fact that it's a lot easier for an older boxer to go out and go around for 12 rounds because it's a lot more about that skill and getting your opponent to play your game. And it doesn't have the same physicality of an MMA match where you're in the octagon and the moment that first bell rings, you're trying to drop each other on the ground.
Wrestling and punching. No rules.
And very few rules.
Yeah.
So it's something that Conor, if he hits his 30s and he's done with MMA, UFC, but wants to keep fighting, he could learn, he could take some time out, learn how to actually box.
Yeah.
And he could be a successful boxer.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, he could box the way he boxed and still be a successful boxer against lesser opponents than Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah.
But I think if he wanted to really prolong his career, he could learn how to box like a true boxer and do that. I don't think he should do it now because he's got such a proficient MMA career. But, I mean, hey, crazier things have happened.
Also this week, the VMA Awards was Sunday.
That was Sunday.
Kendrick Lamar kind of swept the floor. Not surprised.
Not surprised.
That one, everyone loves that album, even though it's fairly overrated. Anyway, we both agree with that one. So
there were definitely, I think, some of the more artistic, like the best cinematography, best director, things like that. Humble very much deserved to win. But there were things like Humble won best hip hop video, and it's a great music video. Yeah. But I think videos like Bad and Bougie or Broccoli or some other videos just encapsulate hip hop better than what Humble did. But because Humble was a masterpiece of a music video.
But Humble encapsulates Humble better.
Yes, yeah. Humble was a masterpiece of a music video.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sold on it being the best hip hop video in terms of just the genre.
It depends what, like, your criteria for what would the best video be. Would the best video be, like, what encapsulates what hip-hop is today, or what encapsulates itself the best?
And that's the thing.
And I'm leaning towards what encapsulates itself the best, to be honest.
But that's why I think it deserves to win Video of the Year.
Yeah.
Or Best Director, things like that, where it's about the video itself.
Yeah.
But the VMAs, it's the same as, like, the Grammys or the Oscars, where they have these specific categories. So it's really just like what encapsulates this category the best. Like outside of the like best picture, best actor ones, which are clearly just about who did the best job. The ones that are more like at the Grammys, where it's like best pop artist, it's not necessarily just gonna go to like the best artist. It's gonna go to the artist whose song best encapsulated the pop genre.
Yeah.
Sometimes
if you're just talking about hip hop, then that makes more sense then. Yeah.
So like I think there were a lot of awards that Humble won that it deserved to win.
Yeah.
I'm just not sold completely on best hip hop.
Yeah.
Video.
What are some of your other takeaways? Like, I think was it Despacito one?
No, it was EXO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert.
Never mind, the last one. So did you think that song deserved the award?
I mean, I think it's a good like party song.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily one that I just sit down in my dorm and listen to.
Yeah.
But it definitely like the song of the summer, like the summer is like the quote unquote like party season. And that's why you look at the list with OMG and Despacito and Wild Thoughts.
Yeah.
And Down. Even Sorry Not Sorry. And EXO Tour Life. Like the only two that don't really fit in are Shape of You and There's Nothing Holding Me Back.
Yeah.
And they were good songs.
Yeah.
That they were popular.
Yeah.
But they just weren't really
summer songs.
Summer like bangers.
That's true.
Whereas
the song of the summer is linked for just the best song that came out in the summer. Like, it's a lot of interpretation when it comes to this stuff.
There's a lot of that.
And
I think I don't hate the fact that it won that. Just like I'm okay with Humble winning best hip hop video. I just think there were better options.
Yeah. It's like if La La Land won best song when it did for a second. You're like, okay, you can see it happening, but it's not your first choice. But then the first choice actually won. So, Moonlight deserved to win the Oscar that year.
I think the weirdest for me was Artist of the Year with Ed Sheeran, because his album's not bad. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that his album sucked.
That's debatable. I'm leaning toward Bruno Mars on that one.
I think Bruno Mars had a great year. I think, how does Kendrick Lamar win 6-7 video awards and then not win Artist of the Year?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I don't think he was the best Artist of the Year.
I mean, I'm not saying he was, but I think over Ed Sheeran he was.
Yeah.
And even The Weeknd has had like a blowout year.
Yeah.
So even he has a say in winning that over Ed Sheeran, who just kind of released his first album in a while, got on one Game of Thrones episode, and
I think that might be why he got a lot of like public exposure this year. Of the Game of Thrones, just with that Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah, it definitely was.
See, look at us. We're right back at Game of Thrones.
Can't avoid it.
Exactly.
It was interesting to me. I didn't really watch many of these videos, but You and I both agreed that the "I Don't Want to Live Forever," the 50 Shades Darker, Zayn and Taylor Swift collaboration video.
Bad. Taylor Swift is not good anymore.
That video that
and
she
the new
released
Taylor Swift song. No. Exactly. Bad song. She's in the wrong genre, and she should be back with country because she was a great country singer, and then she went over to pop music, and now she stinks.
Well, and even some of her early pop stuff was okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
But she's,
okay, I'll give you that.
This, like even the 1989, I didn't despise. It wasn't as good as her older stuff, but I didn't despise it. This album
stuff.
Just seems like it's going to
her best music when she was
bad.
like 18. When all that stuff came out when she was like 18, 19 years old. Like, that was good stuff.
I saw a tweet today that I thought was pretty funny, and it said, when I watched Kanye take the mic and the VMA from Taylor, I thought, oh, okay, I didn't think that this is going to make both of these artists go nuts and destroy their careers. And I was like, I mean, you're right.
Kanye's a little rough.
He
didn't destroy his career. The last album was a little weird. It was weird, but it was fine. I didn't dislike it, but like Taylor's stuff. Taylor's
stuff's gotten worse.
But I mean, Kanye's not gotten that much worse.
No, but it's been a change.
Kanye didn't I'm going to be a pop singer now.
Yeah, he didn't change genres completely. A lot of his older stuff, in my opinion, is much better than
that's true.
The new album
But it's tough to keep that going with the older stuff was so good that it was it's tough to just keep that rolling.
I mean, hey, Eminem's kept it rolling.
Eminem hasn't done anything in years.
Yeah, but he went silent and then he released Marshall Mathers LP 2 and he showed that he could keep it going.
Yeah.
Also, I heard that him and Dr. Dre are recording new stuff.
That's gonna work. That'll work out because Dr. Dre's might be the greatest.
But I think that's what it is Dr. Dre as his manager. Also, Eminem is one of the
great
greatest.
Documentary, by the way.
Eminem is arguably the greatest living rapper right now, and one of the greatest. He's top 10, if not top 5 rappers all time.
Yeah, you told me he was the best rapper of all time. I've actually heard contrary to what you said. You said he was the best rapper of all time, which is a strong statement, but he has a point. In terms of a freestyle battle on the street, if I had to pick one guy to keep my life intact, I'd probably throw Eminem.
And there are very
my backup
few.
Snoop Dogg.
There are very few. There are very few rappers that you could take a track list and just list songs that have done so well on the charts. Because just to name a few, you've got "Lose Yourself," "Without Me," "The Real Slim Shady," "Stan," "Mockingbird,"
Yeah.
"Rap God,"
Yeah.
"Love the Way You Lie."
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Monster?
Yeah.
He was in Monster.
Monster was like a pop song.
He was featured in it.
Still good.
I Need a Doctor.
Yeah. I Need a Doctor was alright.
But there's just so many songs that charted well.
Yeah. Dr. Dre wasn't good in that song, but he's not a singer. He's not in his defense. He's not a singer.
Nope.
He said himself in his own documentary that it's a really good documentary. What's it called again? The Defiant Ones on HBO, 4-part series. It's excellent. He even said in his own documentary he doesn't like his voice. He doesn't like his rapping voice. He says he likes just producing music better because he's an amazing producer. He might be the best ever. He also said that music's a young man's game. You know what I mean? It's the young. Which is
true. Which is why I feel like I have a say or a legitimate argument when I claim that Eminem is one of, if not the greatest rapper of all time, because the Marshall Mathers LP 2 came out and he was pushing 40.
Really? Okay.
I mean, we'll look up how old he is right now.
Yeah, I just want to look up how old he is right now.
He's 44 years old right now.
God, he doesn't look like he's 44 though.
And the Marshall Mathers LP 2 came out in 2013, so he was 40. 40, somewhere between 39 and 40. And he released an album that Rap God charted well.
Yeah.
Berserk charted well.
Yeah.
There were a few other songs on there that, whether they charted well or were just listened to, he's still popping out songs that people listen to.
But didn't Kanye pop out songs that people listen to in his album, even though you might think it's overrated or whatever?
I mean, yes, but
So that's why Kanye has a skin in this game. This is why Jay-Z probably can never be the greatest rapper of all time because his stuff dropped off like a cliff on the new album.
see, and I think Kanye, in terms of just like the content of his lyricism, is a better lyricist than Eminem.
Yeah.
Or they have different ways of
Better artist.
They have different ways of explaining things.
Yeah.
Because Kanye's allusions are a lot more artistic.
Yeah.
Whereas Eminem has allusions,
So I'm saying
but they're
he's
a
more
lot
of an artist.
they're
than
a lot more
Eminem is.
vulgar.
Eminem's the dude you pick off the street to do a rap battle.
So Kanye has a lot more artistic
So he's
stuff.
more talented. As
He's
a singer.
He's got a more talented artistic mind.
I'm trying to like simplify things.
His artistic mind is more talented, but that's not to say because Eminem's lyrics, while they're vulgar and they're different, it's not to say that they're a different kind of artistic from Kanye's. Kanye's one of the best at that style of artistic lyricism. Kanye is by far the best. But Eminem, no one does Eminem's style of rap the way he does it, and Kanye's rap. No one has ever rapped as fast as Eminem does.
No.
There's a lot of times Eminem hardly ever, if ever, rhymes like the same words together.
That's true.
There are moments.
He's not like these
where
new guys who
Kanye
just like
and
say
even
the same words.
the new guys, but even Kanye will rap a couple words, like rhyme a couple words together that are the same word in lines, which
is boring. Yeah. But yeah, like I see your point. I get your point, and you might be right.
And it's a hard argument to make because it's
dead,
just
it's a hard argument.
If Tupac was still alive,
it might be Tupac.
Or like even if he died later, if he just had been alive for a few more years, or if Notorious B.I.G. had been alive for a few more years, like if guys like that had
that '90s era was just so violent and crazy.
But I think the thing is,
in music,
if those guys hadn't died when they died, that wouldn't have shaped because Eminem was in his 20s at that point when those guys were like Eminem was still underground and those guys shaped him as an artist.
But if Eminem had like someone like Big Shug around him all the time, Eminem might have been killed early too. Big Shug is insane. He would get thrown in jail again.
Oh yeah. No, Eminem. But I just think Eminem was shaped. Like if those guys hadn't died when they died, we could be seeing a very different rap game. Yeah. Because there was a lot in just those artists and what happened to them and like the thought of carrying on their legacy and everything that just inspired Eminem. Yeah.
It's like the what ifs we have in sports too. You know, like what if the Bills won a title instead of losing 4 straight?
What if the Bills didn't lose 4 straight and then end up getting the pick that landed them O.J. Simpson, and then O.J. doesn't meet Rob Kardashian, and then the Kardashians don't get famous.
What does the 4 straight have to do with O.J. though, other than the Bills?
Because that year that they lost those games was the year before they drafted him.
Oh. Okay.
It's one of those what ifs that just, what if...
I'm thinking more along the lines of, like, what if Len Bias didn't die, or what if the Rockets picked MJ? No, what if the Trailblazers picked MJ instead of Sam Bowie? Like, for example...
What if the Chargers didn't take Ryan Leaf?
Oh, no, I mean, they had to. Because the Colts had the first pick. And they picked Manning. Warren's like, what if the Colts picked Leaf?
Or that.
Yeah. See, I mean, never know about these things. Yeah. See, the rap game works like the sports game in terms of the what if.
Music in general works like the sports game.
Yeah, a lot of stuff works like
what if Michael Jackson hadn't killed himself?
Yeah.
Or touched little boys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I might have to edit that one out. Yeah, so that's everything we got this week, right?
Yeah, that's
everything we got this week.
It's a light week this week.
It's a light week this week. Stuff will happen. Oh, Arpaio. Quickly, what do you think about the pardoning of Arpaio?
That was an interesting decision.
It's a bad decision.
Yeah.
It's a terrible decision. Well, I mean, you saw it coming. Everyone...
We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a good decision. I don't think it was the right decision, but I knew it was going to happen anyways. Yeah. So, whoops. That was an interesting decision made.
These illegal crimes of sending illegal immigrants back over the other side of the border, just terrible stuff. Really is.
But yeah, so
all these like little stupid things he does just bugs everybody, and you're not even far left. You know what I mean? But you know that. I mean, this guy did illegal things as a government official, and he's getting pardoned just because he sided with Trump early. You know, if you suck up to Trump will give you the favor. It seems like to me, unless you're Chris Christie. Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's all we've got time for this week.
Mm-hmm.
With the NFL stuff all starting soon, and college football starting this week.
Yeah, go look at some college football and stuff.
It's about to be September, which means baseball's heating up. There will be a lot more, and basketball and hockey preseasons are getting ready to start.
Yeah.
There will be a lot more for us to talk about soon. It's just, this is a light week, but...
I mean, we had one of the biggest fights in the last 20 years, and we had the end of season 7 for arguably one of the best TV shows ever. So it's not light. Light on sports.
It was light on
the major sports, because we did a lot of the previews last week. So
yeah.
All right.
So those are our wild thoughts for this week. Tune in next Friday to hear some more, and just let us know on Twitter or anything if you've got some wild thoughts of your own, or if there's something you want us to talk about, or something that like an opinion that we had that you disagree with.
Where can they email us again?
They can email us at talkofthetown@gmail.com, which is appearing right here on the screen, and we'll put that in the description, and our Twitter, which is talkottown, which also is appearing right here, and will also be linked in the description. And so yeah, if you have suggestions for the next episode, or you have things that you want to say that you heard, just reach out to us there, and we'll try to have a civil discussion with you or bring it up in the next episode. So have a good week, guys.